Captain is not an easy job. Trust me. Everyone depends on you. Always expecting you to have answers to all the questions. But when you are leading men into battle, you either know the right answers, or you put everyone's life on the line. You may try to save lives, or you may try to take them.
Ready depth charges.
Ready depth charges.
Sonar, report.
Enemy contact, bearing 28, 370 yards, moving right.
All ahead flank, helm 40 degrees starboard.
Bearing 355, 250 yards. We're gonna lose them, Captain.
Steady as she goes.
Lost contact. Captain!
Give 'em hell!
Jansen, arriving.
Good evening, Captain. All preparations for getting underway are on schedule. The XO is already on board, as are the department heads. 2 boilers are lit off and building steam. Everything is on track for a dawn departure.
Very well, thank you.
Executive officer to the officer's wardroom.
We have been assigned to lead a very small formation. The bad news is that the only other escort we have is about as slow and lightly armed as some of the merchant ships we're traveling with.
That is bad news indeed. Weren't we supposed to have more escorts?
I was hoping for that too, but our convoy and routing division does not have enough of them apparently. The Canadians are helping as much as they can, but until they send the next wave of reinforcements, we will have to make do with less.
And what are we up against?
The U-boat threat has been rather limited recently, so that seems like good news for our friends from the Merchant Navy.
Anything in there about air support?
PBYs taking off from western bases should be available early in the crossing, but then nothing until we get closer to our destination.
And what does the weather report say?
Not bad, XO, but not good either. Typical North Atlantic weather for this time of year. We have been through worse.
If that is all, then let's get a good night's sleep. It may be the last one we get for a while.
And so it begins, my first Atlantic pass. Let's just hope it won't be the last. There are so many things I do not know. Very little is under my control. The crew has been trained, but few have seen actual battle. How will they respond when facing the enemy? How will I respond? The Jansen is the most capable ship in the convoy. It is fast, maneuverable, and heavily armed. I feel anxious for the merchant crews. They truly are sitting ducks. Their only protection is this ship and the single Canadian escort. We are to rendezvous with the RCN at Halifax. I hope the crew can take some liberty there. With only 2 escorts, it will be difficult to protect the convoy from all sides. We will have to focus on priority contacts. If at least one U-boat gets through, this can easily turn into a bloodbath. The weather forecast looks to be okay. We can use brakes to get some training in between passing storms. Some good news, we should get some aircraft escorts, most probably for the first and last third of the trip. Only the middle section is out of range for our planes. Allied intelligence thinks that there are a few U-boats along our path, suggesting low chances of enemy contact. I really hope that is correct, but my gut tells me otherwise.
Proceed with the tutorial.
Officer of the deck, set general quarters.
Set general quarters. Aye. General quarters. General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. Set condition zebra throughout the ship.
Stern depth charge detail manned and ready. Main battery ports manned and ready. Engineering officer of the watch reports engineering manned and ready. Zebra set. 4 boilers online. Max speed 32 knots. Electric plant split. All fire pumps online.
Very well.
The Battle of the Atlantic took place in the 1940s. During that time, most U-boats were still diesel-electric and so could not stay submerged for prolonged periods of time. Therefore, you're very likely to detect them on the surface using radar before they close in for the attack. Once a U-boat submerges, you can no longer detect it using radar, and you will have to use sonar instead. Unlike radar, the sonar of the 1940s had to be pointed in the appropriate direction in order to detect the enemy. Bear that in mind when you lose radar contact with the enemy, and, most importantly, remember this. Radar works only for surfaced contacts, while sonar works only for submerged contacts. Last but not least, the 1940 sonar also has a dead zone right under your destroyer, which is crucial to remember. The most important thing you need to understand, however, is that everything at sea is ruled by the compass. Consequently, every instrument, report, and command also refers to it. It works just like the clock, with 000 or 360 at the top, 090 on the right, 180 at the bottom, and 270 on the left. These three-digit codes are called bearings, and they refer to the cardinal points. 000 or 360 is the north, 090 is the east, 180 is the south, and 270 is the west. So, if there is a contact at bearing 090, it means that it is located east of our position. This system allows the crew to quickly exchange information regarding where the enemy has been detected, what course to take, and so on. Once you understand it, it quickly becomes second nature. In summary, the most important information for you will always be the position of the currently tracked enemy, which is given in bearings, which direction, and ranges, how far away from your position. The last thing you need to know is how to execute a successful depth charge attack. The problem consists in hitting a moving object in 3D space with a weapon that has a considerable delay between being fired and hitting the target. In general, the attack has to be made in such a way as to drop the depth charges with a lead ahead of the U-boat's bow. What is more, the depth charge fuse must be set for shallow, medium, or deep. Bear in mind that the deeper you set the fuse, the longer it takes the depth charges to reach the set depth. The optimal time to drop depth charges is calculated by an analog computer called the Tactical Range Recorder. It measures the speed of closing the distance between your destroyer and the target, and will help you to decide when to give the order to fire. Because of that, pay close attention to what the tutorial says about using the TRR, as it will make the difference between success and failure. In reality, the chances of hitting a U-boat with depth charges were rather slim, but due to the devastating effects that even close misses had on the submarine's morale, harassing and suppressing the U-boat was often enough to make its crew abandon further attack attempts, at least for some time. Now that you understand the most essential facts about anti-submarine warfare in the Second World War, you can proceed with the tutorial. There are three elements that are absolutely crucial to U-boat tactics: speed, flanking, and the element of surprise. Let's begin with speed. A submerged U-boat is roughly as fast as the convoy, so it cannot effectively catch up on it from behind. It would first need to surface to make more speed, yet at the cost of being attacked by escort gunfire. Therefore, the most dangerous kind of enemy is the clever U-boat captain who approaches submerged from the front of the convoy, maintaining the element of surprise, unless you detect him with the sonar. Most enemy captains, however, will approach the convoy on the surface, for reasons already mentioned in the ASW 101 video. As for flanking, torpedoes had the highest chance of hitting the target when fired at the so-called broadside, i.e. not at the bow or the stern of the target, but at its side, which made for a much larger target. If you allow a U-boat to assume a flanking position within 1,500 yards of the convoy, and give it enough time at periscope depth, they will be able to shoot whole salvos of well-aimed torpedoes, potentially sinking a few merchant ships in one fell swoop. Also, the Wolfpack tactics used by U-boats were based on advantage in numbers in an attempt to swarm and overwhelm the escorts by attacking from multiple directions at the same time. This was supposed to create a shock effect, and confuse the escorts by creating chaos and giving them more targets that they could handle at a time. In order to help you prevent that, here is a handful of tactical advice. The best area for U-boats to attack from are the convoy flanks. Prevent them from sneaking into good firing positions, and convoy survivability will rise exponentially. U-boats approaching submerged from the front of the convoy can be a nasty surprise. Whenever possible, maintain at least minimal sonar coverage aimed towards the front of the convoy. If you manage to attack and suppress a U-boat long enough, it will stay submerged and will eventually end up behind the convoy. If that is the case, it will be almost impossible for it to catch up without surfacing, and its threat will have been nullified, at least for some time. Try to attack U-boats as far away from the convoy as possible. However, once they break through, make sure to recall your escorts. Close the formation and aggressively defend the flanks. The U-boats will attempt to exploit any holes in your defenses to get there and fire multiple torpedoes. So if any U-boats break through into this zone, attack them with all your might, or their torpedoes will start to wreak havoc in the convoy. Sooner or later, you will be able to determine the main vector of the attack. Once that happens, relocate more escorts there from the other flank of the convoy as soon as possible. Bear in mind that such formation changes will take a while, so try not to jump the gun, as it may cost you a lot of time later to reverse a bad decision. Whenever possible, attack a U-boat with more than one ship. Also, try coordinating your attacks with other escorts. Just watch out for collisions, and you will be fine. If multiple U-boats break through and swarm the convoy flanks, chaos will ensue and you will start losing ships. Don't panic and stay on your toes, as this is the most difficult time of the battle. When it comes, make sure your escorts are prioritizing the right targets, and try not to get lost in the entanglement. If you make it through this difficult part, you will most likely succeed in suppressing and repelling the enemy. If you start losing ships, don't panic. Check the radar or the tactical station in combat. Deduce where the torpedo may have come from, and make a strong presence in the area to prevent the U-boat from taking further shots on the convoy. Use air support to harass U-boats that are beyond your reach, or quickly relocate it to suppress multiple U-boats when they get dangerously close to the convoy's flank. Remember that air support will force a U-boat to submerge, thus preventing it from firing its torpedoes. Some U-boat captains will submerge and hide under the convoy, or even try to sneak to the other flank. This is a bad situation for you, as it is very dangerous to track and attack U-boats within the convoy due to a high probability of collisions. And lastly, be aggressive and do not let the enemy take the initiative. The longer you hesitate, the more time you are giving the U-boats to reach optimal firing positions and aim their torpedoes. Harass them, never let up, and focus all your assets to the fullest. That concludes the presentation of U-boat and escort tactics.
Bloodhound, this is Black Cat.
All escorts, our eyes in the sky found a sub
121, range 4,000 yards
from the convoy center. Bloodhound, take immediate action to find and prosecute the sub. All other escorts, maintain sector patrols, increase vigilance.
Bloodhound, roger. Moving toward threat as reported. Out.
Lost contact. Able. Last bearing. 121. Last range. 3,700 yards.
Captain I. Officer of the deck, set general quarters.
Set general quarters. Aye. General quarters. General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. Set condition Zebra throughout the ship.
Stern depth charge detail manned and ready. Main battery reports manned and ready. Engineering officer of the watch reports engineering manned and ready. Zebra set. 4 boilers online. Max speed 32 knots. Electric plant split. All fire pumps online.
Very well. All engines ahead, 2/3.
All engines ahead, 2/3. Aye, sir.
Breeze left.
Rudder, 10. Degrees left. Aye, sir.
Stand by to fire.
All engines ahead standard.
All engines ahead standard. Aye, sir.
Surface radar has regained contact. Able, bearing 082. Range 4,100 yards. Contact, able, now bears 0. Surface radar has a new contact. Bearing 256. Range 3,600 yards.
Bridge combat. New surface contact from radar. Bearing 256. Range 3,600 yards. I designate contact Baker. Time 12:24.
Contact, able, now bears 081. Range 4,400 yards.
New course 081.
Course 081. Aye, sir.
Contact, able, now bears 076. Range 4,200 yards.
New course 076.
Course 076. Aye, sir.
Contact, able, now bears 073. Range 3,600 yards.
New course 073.
Course 073. Aye, sir.
All engines ahead full.
All engines
Contact,
ahead full.
able,
Aye, sir.
now bears 071. Range 3,100 yards.
New course 071.
Course 071. Aye, sir.
Contact, able, now bears 068. Range 2,500 yards.
Course 068.
Course 068. Aye, sir. Bloodhound, this is Black Cat. Sub-sighted, southeast, 2 miles from convoy.
Contact, able, now bears 066. Range 1,800 yards.
New course 066.
Course 066. Aye, sir.
Contact, able, now bears 063. Range
Red Oak is sinking.
1,200 yards. Lost contact. Able. Last bearing 063. Last range 1,100 yards. Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie regained. Contact. Able. Bearing 062. Range 800 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, port lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 060. Appears to be periscope feather.
We've lost Red Oak. All ships. Maneuver to avoid.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 055. Range 300 yards from Bloodhound.
New course 055.
Course 055. Aye, sir.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 260. Range 200 yards from Bloodhound. New course 260.
Course 260. Aye, sir.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 235. Range 600 yards from Bloodhound. Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 204. Range 600 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 293. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR.
New course 293.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 170. Range 400 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, port lookout. Object 1/3 to the horizon. Bearing 153. Appears to be periscope feather.
Bloodhound, this is
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 126. Range 500 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 328. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR.
Surface radar has a new contact. Bearing 130. Range 5,600 yards. Lost contact. Baker. Last bearing 243. Last range 1,600 yards.
Bridge, combat. New surface contact from radar. Bearing 130. Range 5,600 yards. I designate contact Charlie. Time 12:30.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 113. Range 800 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 225.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 086. Range 700 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, port lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 009. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 354. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR. Bridge, starboard lookout. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 186.
Bloodhound, this is Black Cat. Periscope.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 059. Range 300 yards from Bloodhound.
Stand by to fire.
Bridge, port lookout. Object 1/3 to the horizon. Bearing 051. Appears to be periscope feather.
New course. Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 042. Range 200 yards from Bloodhound. this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 346. Range 100 yards from Bloodhound. Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 259. Range 200 yards from Bloodhound. New course 259.
Course 259. Aye, sir.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 241. Range 300 yards from Bloodhound. Ready depth charges. Shallow pattern. New course 241.
Course 241. Aye, sir.
All engines ahead. 2/3.
All engines ahead, 2/3.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 228. Range 400 yards from Bloodhound. Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 208. Range 600 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 208. Appears to be periscope feather.
Bloodhound, this is Mountie. Mountie now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 189. Range 600 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, poor lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 253. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR. Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 187. Appears to be periscope feather.
Combat sonar. Regain contact. Able. Bearing 182. Range 600 yards.
Bridge, poor lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 215. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR. Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 173. Appears to be periscope feather. Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 158. Appears to be periscope feather.
Sounds of torpedo tube outer doors opening. Torpedo in the water. Wake on right cut.
Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 143. Appears to be periscope feather.
Bearings drifting left.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 274. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR.
Mountie, this is Bloodhound. Maneuver to assigned station.
Roger. Mountie maneuvering to assigned station.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Merchant ship, CBDR. Bearing 249. Range closing quickly. I say again, CBDR.